Welcome back to Tale 3 Cabins. A few episodes ago I discussed how we were going to try to tear down our old cabin and put up a new structure. Today I'm just going to find out how feasible this is going to be. I'm hoping to be able to keep the old cabin so we don't have to move things right away and we can build right behind the new one. So I got a rep coming from the company we're going to use. I'm going to bring my UTV down by the road so it's easy for them to see. I'm just going to tell them to look for the UTV because I really don't have an address out front. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm Tom.
Nice to meet you. I'm Jordan.
Jordan.
Yeah, so where are we going? Do I need to throw on my boots or?
No, probably not. So I kind of staked out, and like I said, I don't know how this all plays out. I don't know. There is a little bit of
A grade, yeah.
So
with this type of elevation, you know, with your slope going so much this way, I would recommend that you do a crawl space.
yeah.
Because what that does is, with the change in elevation, we do a 6-course crawl space to whenever we dig this all out, because it all gets excavated down to the footer. We'll be able to take this ground and we'll be able to slope it and we'll be able to fill everything out through here.
Okay. I guess it would be ideal if this could stay until this is almost done, and I know that because that way I don't have to worry about finding storage for stuff in there, and you know I can tear it down at my leisure afterwards. But.
So what we have, so the way that we set our homes, okay, I do see that, and that would probably make more sense for us coming up through here.
I would take out these trees and
okay. So unfortunately, with where this is sitting, there's no way for me to get this home on the upper side of this foundation. There's just, unless we were to tear out those trees and build a road all the way up, it'd take a lot of maneuvering around, taking trees out. What we have to do for our homes, like say this is our home right here, right where we're sitting, we would need 20 feet from these stakes this way, built up to our what's called our load zone. Because what we do is we lift them up with jacks and then we slide them across with rails onto the foundation.
All right.
Unfortunately, I don't see another way that we would be able to do it with keeping that there.
Back this way, talk to your guys at the office. They said that they can sometimes get in some pretty precarious spots.
Yeah.
So this used to be an old path that led to the property next door.
Okay.
And if you go through this way a little bit, just over past this thicket is their barn, which has a big clearing in their driveway. And I don't know if that would be an option to come through here. I mean, we would have to clear this out.
Right, right. Yeah. What we would probably do is we'd probably get a dozer in here and make like a little road, after all the trees and stuff are taken out. So you'd almost have to slide it up the hill further. You know what I mean? If you want to keep that home there.
Yeah.
Because, we still need that 20 feet to build that load zone, and we actually have to change.
On all sides?
Just on, well, okay, if we could come this way, we might be able to sneak in the top part there. I guess that's probably what you were alluding to by coming this way.
Yeah.
I could see that being an option. If we can come up through this way, we would shoot for roughly 20 feet of clearing, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Just so that gives us enough room to be able to wiggle back and forth if we need to. And that's what we shoot for. That's why I tell people on my first, site visit. And we don't do the clearing of the trees, but my excavator could very easily get us our path dozed in here if it was cleared out.
Okay, so that might be an option.
Yeah.
We could walk over there if you want to look at it or drive over there.
Yeah, I can.
The section of home would be wider than the trailer itself, right? That it's sitting on, or no?
Yeah, so the section, it overhangs the frame. Yeah.
Okay. And that's probably somewhere in a ballpark of 14 feet?
So you're 26.8 is what he was looking at. So you're 13.4. So that actually 13.4 ish, it tends to be a little bit bigger than that.
And what would a foundation like that cost?
So this foundation right here, we're talking just the foundation. That depends. I can wrap, your electrical work into that, your plumbing. It can get extensive as you want, or if you guys want to handle some of it yourself. Just the foundation yourself, I could probably get that in for about 20-ish, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
And your utilities and stuff, it would depend on where we're bringing them from and hooking them up and all that stuff.
Well, we've got a pole right there. You can see it just that's where the electric is.
Okay.
That's 100 amp right now, so I'm sure we'd have to go up to 200.
We'd have to upgrade. Yep.
Do you know if what's involved with that? They just put a thicker gauge wire coming
Yep.
through
So the power company would take care of that to that point, and basically we could use that pole right there, and we would put our meter base on there, meter base disconnect combo, and then we could go underground from there up into the home.
Okay.
So we'll have to do additional costs for this, and then we'd have to add in there for plumbing. Plumbing and new electric service, and if you guys wanted AC, you know, all those things, we could factor all that in. So our foundation's a 6-course crawl space, okay? That comes with the sill plate on top. That comes with the blocking in the middle. It comes waterproofed.
Okay.
And gravel backfill with footer drains and downspouts.
Similar to what you have sitting there? There's like a foundation with nothing on it?
Yeah, it would be similar to that. That one's obviously very old, but yours would be brand new and a lot better shape. But yeah, your downspouts and your footer drains, because we really need, we need to put in a nice swale in the back side of here to get this water to come out. We'll do a final grade when we come back. So there's a bunch of stuff that, all that will be listed on here for you guys to be able to see, know exactly what you're paying for. Well, so I typically like to start the foundation about a month before the home's coming. So if you're ordering a home, they would probably give us a projected date that they would want to set it. And then I would start the foundation, approximately about a month before. Yeah. And normally I'm sitting waiting on them. We try to be prepared whenever that home's coming.
Okay.
But we don't want to get it too far out in front.
And how much of a difference taking that out would that make?
Well, we would probably just need to do a little bit of work to the driveway and clear that and make it wider.
Yeah.
But we would essentially be able to pull right up your drive.
This side or that side?
We could probably go either one, to be honest. We'd have to do a little bit of work to each one, but I could factor that in. Before I leave here, I need to know which way we think we want to go.
Well, I don't even want to ask them until we know that that's a possibility.
Okay.
So I don't even want to
I know a well, and a well can be anywhere from 10 to 15. It could be, and a septic is kind of the same ballpark. It could be anywhere from 10 to 20, depending on what type of system you have to put in. We have to get our stuff state inspected. So for it to pass the final inspection, you have to have water and sewer. I do know that.
Okay.
So you won't be able to take occupancy of the home until we have a final C of O, a final occupancy certificate from the state.
It's nice on the one hand because it's very cheap. I mean, I can close this up, blow the water lines out, not power the thing for months, and then come back 6 months later. Where I think this is going to be a little bit more, probably going to have to keep it heated somewhat, keep the pipes from freezing. That's not insured, probably going to have to insure this. We could take a little ride on the UTV if you want and just go over there and look at it.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't matter. And we'll bring a pole saw out along and we'll trim up some trees and stuff like that we need to on the entrance. Sorry, I passed a really nice buck just about 2 minutes down the road here.
Really?
Yeah, he had to been at least an 8-point.
I have a feeling it wouldn't make it past here. So but I didn't know if it was like maybe 13 feet wide or something.
Yeah, it'd be really, really tight right there.
And then either side of the barn have it drive. But it would have been straight through that thicket. It's maybe 100 feet.
Okay.
But it's mostly thicket.
Yeah, wouldn't be terrible.
So,
construction, start excavation. I'd probably bring my boss down here too, Jordan Hartzler. He owns the company.
Okay.
And I'd love his input on it. So I would probably ask him his opinion on which way he thinks it would be better for the crew to come in. That wouldn't affect your price at all, because I honestly think they're going to wrap up just about the same amount of time in either one.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. There's plenty enough room. Basically, if we went with the option of tearing this down, and we wanted to put it here, basically you would call me and be like, "Hey, Jordan, the house is down. Can we stake it off next time I'm down there?" I'd come down. We'd stake it off. I would pull my tape out this way. Make sure that we have, if the home's sitting here now, our load zone is going to be here. Regardless if we come up that way or we come up this way. And what that entails is, from the top of our block, this load zone has to be 12 inches from it.
Okay.
So wherever our top of the wall is, that's kind of, we're going to have to fill out a bunch of dirt wherever that comes to. And we're going to have to make either that end meet up with that grade, We're going to have to make that and meet up with that grade.
Okay.
So there's a lot of logistical things that go into it, but that would be up to me to figure out at that point. So just so, you know,
Okay.
in case you were come down here when the foundation's just up and you're like, what in the world are they doing?
Yeah.
We're just building that load zone is all we're doing.
Or
For-
if this had to come down first anyway.
I would put it right there.
Right there.
That's me. But that's me. To make it easier, 100%. I would, you know, to make it easier, I would be putting it right where this one was.
Well, I'm just wondering if is it worth the hassle and little savings of not getting storage or something like that?
I have a feeling you will pay more
Yeah.
in the dirt. You know what I mean? In the dirt work to get than you would tearing this down and giving us a clean slate here to work.
Okay, because there's more of a pitch over here.
There is. It would take, and obviously that shed could stay, the garage.
Hope so.
We would still, but we could work a lot of this ground like down to that ravine and kind of help fill that out. And then, you know, one day if you wanted to make this drive wrap all the way around, it would definitely not be as steep by the time we're done with it.
Yeah.
Because we'd have a lot more dirt here to work with. But yes, I would try and figure out a way to put it right here is what I would do.
All right.
But that's
Could you-
just my
all right.
opinion. If
So
you
when
could
you're-
put it right here, literally what we'd do is we come up there. I'd probably have my guy with the dozer come here and just kind of cut that. It comes in and then it's like straight up.
Right.
So I'd probably take, and then it knobs off. So I would probably have him take that off and just push it down the hill and make it more of a gradual.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I
is
would
definitely
do.
a little steeper than that.
Yeah,
stuff, but-
yeah.
Okay.
This is established driveway with the stone and stuff, so that's why
Yeah.
I would like to work off of here if possible.
Okay.
Just make it a little bit easier.
All right, so there you have it. I thought some of this was a little bit of a pipe dream, but it seems like the most economical way to go is to demolish this cabin first, make the room for the new place. It would have been nice to put it right back behind here because then all this stuff I could have just left in here and we could have dismantled it at our leisure, moved things over when it was finished, decide what we want to save, salvage, destroy, burn, and maybe sell. So that will create a little bit of a logistics issue because some timing and where to put some of this stuff. Do I bring some of it home? Do I go out and get a storage container? Some stuff I could probably just put in the shed if it's mouse proof, like some of the dining table or certain pieces of furniture. But a chair I wouldn't want to put in there because it's just going to be a nest for a mouse nest. So that would probably have to come home. There's certain things that we're going to pitch. This couch, probably its days are numbered. We're thinking about bringing the couch from Tennessee, buying some new furniture in Tennessee, and taking some of that furniture and bring it to here. So a lot of little things to think about. It looks like most economically, though, is that this should come down first. It sounds like it would be a bigger expense for them to try to maneuver things around this cabin just to try to get the structure in back here. I envision trying to save some parts of this cabin, like maybe the T111 on the sides, and that stuff we could maybe use for hunting blinds in the future. A lot of stuff we could just burn. Some stuff we're going to need a dumpster for, so like all the roofing material we're going to need a dumpster, probably the flooring stuff we're going to need a dumpster, but everything in between can probably either get burnt, thrown in a dumpster, or salvaged. It's going to be time consuming. I've thought about bringing JD down here to help with a little bit of the demolition, either once we get to a point where we can start pulling off walls or pulling down walls, breaking things up. Maybe I could use the brush crusher to lift up debris and carry it over to the fire or carry it over to the dumpster. Just a lot of little things to think about. We'll see how it plays out. I'm going to wait on them to give me a price list, and then Karen and I will go over it and decide, you know, how much of an expense we want to incur with some stuff and how much we want to try to do ourselves. In the long run, going this route, it's still going to be a lot less work for me because once this structure is here and delivered, it's all done. I don't have to do anything on the inside. Where the old plan, I was going to have to complete the inside of a shell. So putting up interior walls, putting in the plumbing, electricity, flooring, HVAC, and that's a lot of work and a lot of time to come down here. And then lastly, I really want to make sure that whatever we do, we can break at least even if we decide that we don't want to come down here anymore, if something happens where maybe we're not physically able to enjoy this anymore, that we could turn around and sell it. And I don't want to sell it at a loss. I would like to at least break even And that's a little bit of a catch when you have something of a double wide. Usually if you have a double wide in like a trailer park, it loses value. But if you have one in a setting like this, 9 times out of 10, it should retain its value or gain a little bit. All right, that's something to look forward to in the coming months, but we still have a couple more days of gun season left, so we're going to head up on top of the hill. It's a beautiful day now. The weather's definitely improved over the last couple days, so let's do a little bit more hunting. Three does and a button buck. Do you see anything?
Couple squirrels. They were all around your feeder.
Yeah, and you're looking forward in that feeder. They came out at like my 11 o'clock down the path I came down to go to the stand. Shh.
Did you put a silencer on that gun?
I just whacked him on the head. Going down to that creek.
Yeah, because even like I said, all the way to the right of that feeder, because then I wouldn't be cutting him off at all. That just looks nice. I'm gotta guess that's closer to behind. What's the guy's name house that has the old Ludi house? What's his name?
Joe.
It's got to be kind of behind and up from his house.
Put the feeder down on that flat.
That flat's nice looking.
We call it an Uber?
Yeah.
Pizza?
I'm down in southern Ohio hunting.
He's planning on his dinner, so he's going to
Yeah.
Uber Eats.
Yeah. Meat lovers?
Yeah, for shelter.
I like lots of sausage. You gotta do boil the bow tie pasta? You gotta boil the noodles?
And he says, all of a sudden I hear this. He goes, and I see movement coming down the other side, and it's like a valley. It just comes down, there's a flat, and comes up. And he goes, and here comes this deer. And he goes, all I'm seeing is flipping antlers. And this thing just running. He goes, it stopped briefly, sniffed a couple things, and then started charging up on it. He goes, I could see its eyes were all glassed over. He goes, they're definitely still in run. And he goes, and this thing, he goes, was easily a 10 point, if not bigger. He goes, biggest deer I've ever seen down. He goes, that's bigger than most deer I've ever seen in Ohio. And, I was just curious as to why.
Beautiful evening by the campfire. A lot of discussions going on. A couple guys are going to be taking off first thing in the morning.
Made that offer.
My friend Nick tried loading his UTV, but the trailer was on a little bit of an angle. It's been raining and it's kind of slick and he can't get the UTV on straight, so we're going down a little flatter land by the road. Oh, it moved a little bit there. There you go. It was raining pretty good this morning. Everybody decided just to stay in, had some breakfast. The wind's really kicked up, so I'm not sure if we're even going to go out this afternoon or not. Usually the first 3 or 4 days we have some large meals. Everybody makes a separate meal, and now we're just living off of leftovers. Okay, this is day 3 of gun week, and some of our friends took off this morning just after breakfast. It was a pretty rainy morning this morning. Nobody nobody went out. It just wasn't worth the trouble and effort. It's cleared up, the sun's come out, but the temperature's changed and it is very windy. In fact, I was debating whether or not to be sitting up in this tree. I don't really have any dead branches above. Everything looks good in the surrounding area. If I start swaying too much, I'll just go down on the ground. But for now, things seem like they're okay. So it's been a not too productive week. We have seen deer. I think for the first day or two, we all seen the same 2 deer over and over again. I had the opportunity, but I really did not have the motive to take anything. And we're just going to let those grow up to be bigger, stronger deer. This county's not known for having huge deer, but every once in a while you get surprised. I got surprised a couple of years ago. My buddy Don got surprised last year. This is a rolling hill area, so basically there's no crops being grown, maybe feed crops and hay, stuff like that, but nothing like the deer might want to eat, get big and strong and grow big antlers off of. It's mostly livestock raising around here. It's a neat area. I enjoy coming out here. I don't have to take something every time we're out here, and it's nice being in the woods. It's nice hanging out with the guys for a day or two, or maybe 3 or 4. I think it would have been nice if some of the other guys would have saw something that they could have taken out of here just for coming out here in the time and effort. But to me, I really don't mind.
This would be a lot easier to tie your tractor down.
Yeah, just always trying to find a point on the tractor.
Yeah, well, you can wrap them around anything, or you could get one of them straps that have the things, and then hook it through there. And there's no excess hanging off, flying around, coming loose. All in.
And then there was one. Well, the way things have been going, I can honestly say that no animals were harmed in the making of this video. So I don't anticipate anything happening this evening. I'm really not going to by myself, so unless something huge and monstrous walks by, but I don't anticipate that happening the way the week's been going. But you never know. Every now and then you get surprised. Something comes through the woods, and I don't know. Tonight's one of those nights. Alright, that's going to do it for today. I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoyed and subscribe to these videos. Click on that little bell when you want to know when a new one is coming out. And keep an eye on us so you can keep tabs on our new cabin replacement.